Have you ever wondered why the most powerful people in any room are often the quietest? Why masters of negotiation, strategy, and influence rarely show their cards until the perfect moment? There's an ancient principle that separates those who control situations from those who are controlled by them. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most potent tactics of power, the art of concealing your intentions. In this video, you'll discover why revealing your plans too early is the fastest way to lose leverage, how silence becomes your greatest weapon, and the exact strategies used by chess masters, business moguls, and strategic thinkers throughout history to turn any situation in their favor. By the end of this, you'll understand why the most dangerous person in the room isn't the loudest, it's the one who knows how to wait. Here's the truth most people won't admit. We are hardwired to share our plans. It feels good. When we talk about what we're going to do, our brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that rewards us for actual achievement. This is why so many people announce their goals on social media, tell everyone about their business idea, or reveal their strategy in negotiations before they've even begun. But here's the problem. When you reveal your intentions, you hand over control. Think about it like a game of poker. The moment you show your hand, everyone at the table adjusts their strategy against you. They know what you want. They know what you're planning. And now, they can prepare their defense, their countermove, their way to block you. In negotiations, this means they'll raise their price or lower their offer. In business, competitors will copy or undercut you. In relationships, people will use your desires against you. In career moves, colleagues will sabotage your advancement. Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War that all warfare is based on deception. When capable, feign incapacity. When active, inactivity. This wasn't just military strategy. It was a philosophy of power that applies to every interaction where stakes exist. The generals who won battles weren't the ones who announced their battle plans. They were the ones who moved in silence, who kept their enemies guessing, who struck when least expected. Robert Greene, in his landmark work on power dynamics, identified this as one of the fundamental laws. Always say less than necessary. The more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. Powerful people intimidate and create an aura of mystique by saying little. The less you reveal about your intentions and thinking, the more others will scramble to interpret your actions, often reading far more into them than you intended. But why does this work so effectively? The answer lies in human psychology. When people don't know what you're planning, they become anxious. Anxiety leads to mistakes. Mistakes create opportunities for you. Let me give you a real example. Imagine you're in a job where you want a promotion. Most people would march into their boss's office and say they want to move up, explaining all their reasons and plans. But what happens? The boss now has all the information. They can delay. They can prepare reasons to deny you. They can even start looking for your replacement. Now imagine a different approach. You say nothing. Instead, you start performing at a higher level. You take on strategic projects. You build relationships with key stakeholders. You make yourself indispensable. And you do all of this without announcing your intentions. When the time is right, when your value is undeniable, that's when you make your move. Now your boss is caught off guard. They haven't had time to build a case against you. Your actions speak so loudly that denying you becomes nearly impossible. This is the power of strategic silence. It's not about being secretive for the sake of mystery. It's about maintaining control over the narrative and timing of your actions. When you announce your plans early, you invite interference. People will tell you why it won't work. They'll plant seeds of doubt. They'll create obstacles, sometimes unconsciously, sometimes deliberately. But when you move in silence, you eliminate resistance before it has a chance to form. You bypass the gatekeepers. You avoid the naysayers. You create momentum that becomes unstoppable by the time others realize what you're doing. Let's talk about the corporate world for a moment. The most successful executives, the ones who rise to the top, understand this principle intimately. They don't broadcast their ambitions. They don't announce their strategies in meetings where competitors might hear. They work behind the scenes, building alliances, securing resources, positioning pieces on the board. And when they finally reveal their move, it's already too late for anyone to stop them. Steve Jobs was a master of this. Apple's product launches were legendary precisely because nobody knew what was coming. The secrecy wasn't just marketing, it was strategy. By the time competitors saw what Apple had created, they were already months or years behind. There was no time to copy, to adjust, to compete effectively. The reveal itself became a weapon. Consider the dating and relationship dynamics as well. The person who reveals their feelings too early, who shows complete availability and transparency, often loses attraction and leverage. Not because playing games is good, but because mystery and uncertainty create tension, and tension creates interest. The person who maintains a degree of privacy about their life, their plans, their emotions, creates a space for the other person to lean in, to pursue, to invest. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding that value is partially determined by scarcity, and that total transparency eliminates the human need to discover and uncover. Now let's discuss the mechanics of how to actually implement this principle. First, you need to distinguish between harmful secrecy and strategic discretion. Harmful secrecy is lying, deceiving, or hiding information that others have a right to know. Strategic discretion is simply choosing when and how to reveal information that belongs to you. It's about timing and audience. Before you share any plan, goal, or intention, ask yourself 3 questions. First, what do I gain by revealing this now? Second, what do I risk by revealing this now? Third, is there a better time to share this information when I'll have more leverage or when the outcome is more secure? Most of the time, you'll find that the answers point toward waiting. When you're negotiating a salary, don't reveal your current salary or your minimum acceptable offer first. When you're launching a business, don't announce it until you have traction. When you're making a career move, don't tell your current employer until you've secured the new position. When you're working on a creative project, don't share it until it's refined enough to stand on its own. The premature reveal invites premature judgment, and premature judgment kills momentum. There's also a powerful psychological phenomenon at play here called the Zeigarnik effect. People remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. When you hint at something without fully revealing it, when you create a gap in information, the human brain becomes obsessed with filling that gap. This is why cliffhangers work in storytelling. This is why teaser campaigns generate buzz. This is why the person who doesn't overshare becomes more interesting than the person who tells you everything. You can use this in conversations, in presentations, in personal branding. Give people enough to be intrigued, but not enough to be satisfied. Let them come to you for more. Another layer to this strategy is understanding the concept of optionality. When you reveal your intentions early, you lock yourself into a path. You reduce your options because now you have to follow through or appear inconsistent. But when you keep your intentions private, you maintain flexibility. You can pivot. You can adjust based on new information. You can change direction without explaining yourself to anyone. This flexibility is crucial in fast-moving environments where adaptability is survival. The moment you announce you're definitely doing X, you've eliminated your ability to do Y or Z without losing credibility. Let's examine some practical scenarios where this tactic becomes essential. In legal situations, lawyers operate on this principle religiously. They never reveal their full strategy to the opposing counsel. They disclose only what's legally required, and even then, they time their disclosures strategically. They know that surprise is often the difference between winning and losing a case. In business acquisitions, companies that are looking to acquire others do extensive research in complete secrecy. The moment target companies know they're being evaluated, prices inflate and complications arise. The best deals are done quietly, announced only when signatures are on contracts. In personal finance and investing, the wealthiest individuals rarely broadcast their positions or strategies. Warren Buffett is famous for making massive investments before anyone realizes what he's doing. By the time the public knows, he's already secured his position at favorable prices. If he announced his intentions first, prices would spike and his advantage would evaporate. The same applies to your personal financial goals. Don't announce you're saving for a house. Don't tell everyone about your investment strategy. Don't broadcast your wealth. Keep that information private. It protects you from envy, from bad advice, from people who might take advantage. Now, some might argue that this approach sounds manipulative or dishonest. But there's a critical distinction to make here. Concealing your intentions is not the same as lying. You're not obligated to share every thought, plan, or goal with every person you encounter. Privacy is a right, not a deception. Discretion is wisdom, not manipulation. The key is to never actively deceive, but also never feel pressured to over-reveal. You can be honest when asked direct questions, while still being strategic about what you volunteer. When someone asks what you're working on, you can give a general answer without revealing the specifics that could compromise your advantage. You can say you're exploring opportunities without detailing exactly which companies you're talking to. You can share that you're improving yourself without listing every course you're taking or book you're reading. The practice of strategic silence also builds a certain kind of personal power that others can sense but can't quite define. When you're not constantly seeking validation through sharing your plans, when you're not looking for permission or approval, when you move with quiet confidence, people notice. They respect it. They might not consciously understand why, but they perceive strength. This is because neediness and weakness are often expressed through oversharing and seeking external validation. Strength and self-sufficiency are expressed through self-containment. The person who doesn't need to tell you what they're doing is often the person who's actually doing something significant. Think about the greatest strategic minds in history. They shared this trait universally. Military leaders who won against superior forces did so through unpredictability and concealment. Business leaders who built empires did so by keeping their innovations secret until launch. Political leaders who achieved power did so by building coalitions quietly before making public moves. Even in sports, the greatest coaches keep their game plans secret, their strategies hidden until the moment of execution. The reveal is part of the victory. There's also immense freedom in this approach. When you're not constantly reporting your progress, explaining your decisions, or justifying your choices to others, you free up enormous mental energy. You're no longer performing for an audience. You're not managing others' expectations. You're simply executing your vision on your timeline. This creates a kind of flow state where your energy goes into action rather than explanation. The people who achieve the most are often the ones who talk about it the least while they're doing it. They save the talking for after the success, if they talk about it at all. This principle extends to how you handle setbacks and failures as well. When you haven't announced your intentions, you don't have to announce your failures. You can fail privately, learn from the experience, adjust your approach, and try again without the added weight of public scrutiny or the embarrassment of having to explain what went wrong. This removes a huge psychological barrier to taking risks. Many people don't pursue ambitious goals specifically because they fear the public failure that would come if things don't work out. But if nobody knows you were trying, nobody knows you failed. You're free to experiment, to take bold risks, to fail and iterate until you succeed. Remember, the goal isn't to become a mysterious recluse who never communicates. The goal is to become strategic about what you share, when you share it, and with whom. There are absolutely times when revealing your intentions is appropriate and beneficial. When you need to rally a team around a vision, when you're seeking specific help or partnership, when transparency builds trust in a committed relationship. These are times when openness serves you. The key is intentionality. Share when it serves your goals, not just because you feel the impulse to share. Make every revelation a choice, not a compulsion. As we wrap up, I want you to walk away with this understanding. In a world where everyone is oversharing, broadcasting their every move, announcing their plans before taking action, the person who knows how to move in strategic silence has an enormous advantage. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. You maintain optionality, and optionality is freedom. You avoid interference, and avoiding interference is how you maintain momentum. You create mystery, and mystery is magnetic. This isn't about becoming secretive or antisocial. It's about becoming strategic. It's about understanding that your intentions are valuable information, and valuable information should be protected until the moment it benefits you most to reveal it. So the next time you feel the urge to announce what you're planning, pause. Ask yourself if this serves you, or if silence would serve you better. More often than not, you'll find that the silent path is the powerful path. Master this tactic, and you'll find that situations begin turning in your favor more consistently than you ever thought possible. Let me share with you some advanced techniques that will take this principle to the next level. One of the most sophisticated applications is what I call the decoy intention strategy. This is where you deliberately reveal a minor intention to satisfy people's curiosity while concealing your true objective. Magicians use this constantly. It's called misdirection. While everyone is watching your left hand, your right hand is executing the real trick. In business negotiations, you might let the other party think you're primarily concerned about price when your real priority is contract terms or timeline. You give them a win on price, making them feel they've gained leverage, while you secure the terms that actually matter to your long-term success. This technique is incredibly powerful because it satisfies the human need to feel they understand what's happening while keeping your real advantage completely protected. Another critical aspect is learning to read the room and identify who else is practicing strategic silence. The most dangerous competitors aren't the ones making noise, they're the quiet ones watching and listening. In any meeting, negotiation, or social setting, observe who talks the least. Often that person is gathering information, studying patterns, waiting for the right moment to act. These are your real competitors, your true equals in the game. Respect them, watch them, and never underestimate them. When you identify someone else who understands this principle, you're dealing with a player at your level, and the dynamics change completely. The interaction becomes a sophisticated dance where both parties are carefully measuring what to reveal and what to conceal. There's also tremendous power in the principle of delayed gratification when it comes to sharing victories. In our social media age, people can't wait to post their wins the moment they happen. Got a new job? Posted within hours. Closed a deal? Immediately broadcasting. Reached a milestone? The world must know right now. But here's what they don't realize. Premature celebration often precedes reversal. Deals fall through, jobs don't work out, relationships end, projects fail. When you've already announced success, the subsequent failure is doubly painful and publicly embarrassing. The strategic approach is to let your success mature and solidify before revealing it. Wait until you've completed the probation period. Wait until the contract is fully executed. Wait until the project is delivered and paid for. This patience protects you from embarrassment and also compounds the impact of your announcement. When you finally do share, the achievement is undeniable and complete. Consider also the concept of information asymmetry as a strategic asset. In economics, this refers to situations where one party has more or better information than another. The party with superior information almost always has the advantage. By concealing your intentions, you create and maintain information asymmetry in your favor. You know what you're planning, you know your true priorities, you know your limits and capabilities. The other party doesn't. This asymmetry is valuable, and you should protect it as carefully as you'd protect any other asset. Every piece of information you reveal reduces this asymmetry and transfers power to the other party. Think of information as currency. You wouldn't throw money away carelessly, so why throw information away? The timing of revelation is an art form in itself. There's a concept in chess called the quiet move, a move that doesn't create immediate threat or capture but sets up an unstoppable position for later. Your intentions should often be quiet moves. You're not creating obvious impact yet, but you're positioning yourself for inevitable success. When you do finally reveal, it should be at the point of maximum impact and minimum opportunity for interference. In legal terms, this is similar to presenting evidence at trial rather than during discovery. In business, it's like launching a product when it's ready to dominate rather than when it's just functional. In personal development, it's achieving the transformation before discussing the journey. Finally, understand that this principle becomes even more powerful when combined with consistent action. The contrast between silent intention and visible results creates an aura of almost supernatural effectiveness. People see the outcomes but didn't see the planning, didn't know about the attempts, weren't aware of the strategy. This makes you appear more talented, more lucky, more connected than you actually are. And perception, as you know, often becomes reality. When people believe you're highly effective, they treat you accordingly. They give you opportunities, they seek your input, they want to associate with you, all because you understood that the space between intention and announcement is where power lives. Guard that space jealously, protect it fiercely. Let your results do the talking while your intentions remain your secret weapon. This is how you transform from someone who talks about doing things into someone who simply does things. And that transformation is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary in any field you choose to pursue.